Trump makes sweeping promises to donors on audacious fundraising tours. Yes, obviously. Both candidates are gathering funds to have a megalomaniac campaigns. By tying donation requests to purchase of tax cuts and other policies, Trump is testing the boundaries of federal campaign finance laws. Yes, I believe you cannot promise to, cut taxes for money. Like, you have to be very creative about what you say to not get into the territory of the federal finance of the finance laws. Let's see. When Donald Trump met some of the country's top donors at a luxurious New York hotel earlier this month, he told the group that a businessman had recently offered $1 million to his presidential campaign and wanted to have lunch. "I'm not having lunch," Trump said. He responded, "According to donors who attended, you've got to make it $25 million. Ooh. Another businessman, he said, had traditionally given $2 million to $3 million to the Republican. Instead, he said he told donor that he wanted a $25 million or $50 million contribution, or he would not be very happy. Oh, Jesus. Jesus. Just so I can Onlyfans gal. As he closed his speech at the Pierre Hotel, Trump explained to the group why it was in their interest to cut large checks. No cheeks, unfortunately. Maybe it's better, because we all know what these politicians like, and I will not go any further. If he was not put back in office, taxes would go up from them under President Biden, who vows to let Trump-era tax cuts go on the wealthy and corporations expire at the end of 2025. The tax cuts all expire for wealthy and poor and middle income and everything else. But they expire in another 7 months and he's not going to renew them, which means taxes are going up by 4 times, Trump said, exaggerating the size of the cuts. You're going to have the biggest tax increase in the history. Perhaps. Well, you have to also know that the US is indebting themselves very rapidly at this point. Their debt interest is almost $800 billion, I believe. I'd have to check that. I'd have to check that site again. But yeah, 800 billion on loan rates. 800 billion on loan rates alone is just massive. This is much more than GDP of many countries. The tax cuts are expected, you're going to have. Seconds after promising the tax cuts, Trump made his speech explicit. So whatever you guys do, I appreciate it, he said. The remarks is just one example of series of audacious requests by Trump for big money contributions in recent months. According to 11 donors, advisors, and others close to the former president who spoke on the condition of anonymity to describe his fundraising, the pleas for millions in donations come as the presumptive Republican nominee seeks to close cash gap with Biden and to pay for costs to legal bills in his 4 criminal indictments. Yes, Trump is facing a lot of criminal indictments, but it won't get solved, that's sure. At least not if he's elected. I'm gonna take a sip. Trump sometimes makes requests higher than his team expects to receive, sometimes surprising his own advisors because he is asking for so much money. By frequently tying the fundraising request within seconds of promises of tax cuts, oil project infrastructure approvals, and other favorable policies, and asking for sums more than his campaign and GOP can legally accept from an individual. Trump is also testing the boundaries of federal campaign finance laws, according to legal experts. In one recent meeting staged by his super PAC, Trump asked oil industry executives to raise $1 billion for his campaign and said raising such a sum would be a deal given how much money they would save if he were re-elected as a president. Okay. Yeah, it's something easier in this. I still wonder how he's going to reduce the deficit, the loan interests, rates. I really wonder, but hey, it might work out. Larry Noble, a long-time campaign financier, said Trump was technically allowed to ask only for contribution of $3,300 or less for his campaign, according to federal laws, but he can appear at the events for his Super PAC, where the price of admission is far higher as long as he doesn't ask for the money directly. Indeed. He can't say, I want you to give me $1 million, Noble said. And after a 2016 Supreme Court decision overturning public corruption conviction of former Virginia Governor Robert F. McDonnell, it would require an explicit quid pro quo for a specific government action in a direct exchange for a contribution to be viewed as illegal, Noble said. Also, even if presented with evidence that might have gone over the line, multiple prominent campaign financiers said the Federal Election Commission, which is governed with 3 Republicans and 3 Democrats, is unlikely to investigate any of the Trump's fundraising in the election years. Yes, absolutely. Trump is certainly not the first candidate to seek large checks from moneyed interests. Advisors said that Trump regularly makes the same policy promises on the campaign trails as that he does behind closed doors with wealthy donors, and evidence has not emerged that Trump has directly linked a specific policy outcome to a specific donation. Oftentimes his comments at the events are about foreign policy and topics he discusses at the rallies, such as inflation and immigration. For example, at one event he suggested he would have bombed Moscow and Beijing if Russia invaded Ukraine or China invaded Taiwan, surprising some of the donors. Okay, so let me get this. He would have bombed Moscow and Beijing if Russia invaded Ukraine. That is all that happened in the 2020 election, right? Right? Or China invaded Taiwan, obviously. I mean, they are at this one. I think they have a defense pact with Taiwan to protect them. I don't. I hope this will happen in 2020. Otherwise, we might have a problem here. The Trump campaign did not respond to detailed questions about his fundraising requests, but issued a statement in support of his effort. So, I mean, if he would not be viewing this invasion, so if he, okay, I'm assuming this is from 2020. So, but however, I will now have fun as if it happened in 2024. So, if he's viewing the current, Russia's invasion as a special military operation, then does this mean he would not come to help Taiwan if China announced their own special military operation? Who knows? No, this happened in 2020, I'm sure. I believe. Clueless. Oh, there's more. Perfect. As Joe Biden's backers in Hollywood and Silicon Valley are withholding their support for Biden's failing campaign, donors across the country are maximizing their effort to re-elect President Trump because they realize we cannot afford another 4 years of Joe Biden's terrible policies. Trump spokeswoman Caroline Leavitt said in a statement. That's very close to Lewinsky. The former president was once reluctant to call donors and declared the role of big money in politics. He often railed about having to take pictures, berating advisors for scheduling too many clicks, and sought to cast himself as an outsider who was not beholden to the traditional moneyed interests that shape Washington. Yes, in his 2016, he obviously wanted to be the outsider, and it worked out for him. He won. A lot of people were seeing him as the outsider. However, that's changed. Especially for this election, he knows he has to win, otherwise he's going to be too old. He is too old, but he's going to be even older in 2020, and he don't know who would they actually put up. The Democrats will hopefully put up somebody, younger, and yeah, he would lose. And he also knows that his own supporters would be an issue if he didn't try it again in 2028. The former president was once reluctant to call donors, blah blah blah. Yes, we already read that. He didn't want to make fundraising calls. Sam Nunberg, a former AD on Trump's 2016 campaign. On the 2020 campaign, he would reluctantly participate in fundraisers, advisors said, seeing them as an unpleasant necessity. Part of his opposition to making calls was that he liked perception that he was an outsider, Who was going to drain the swamp? I mean, he was already 4 years of president, so the outsider card kinda expired. I will say this. The people who control special interests, lobbyists, donors, they make large contributions to politicians, and they have a total control over those politicians. Yes, that's how the United States politics works in both national and local level. The corporations pick your leaders. They pick who you will vote for by giving them much more light than the others. They decide your leaders and you cannot do anything about it. Trump's doing a 2016 debate, and frankly, I know this system better than anybody else. I'm the only one up here that's going to be able to fix that system because that system is wrong. Well, if he's the only one, then he's not going to fix it because the others will overwhelm him. And it's just a pre-election talk to begin with. This time, campaign advisors say Trump needs the money and he is taking an active role in raising it. The Trump campaign and RNC reported that they joined to raise $76 million in April, or 25 million more than the Biden campaign said it raised across all committees in the same amount, but the Biden operation still had about 60 million more cash on the hand than the Trump campaign. I mean, this is going to shrink then if Biden does not start to get more money. Then it's going to shrink and he's going to have more. So I mean, this is a very small difference in the grand scheme of things. Yeah, in the bigger picture, these 60 millions won't probably play a role. And something is, Trump has met with an assortment of real estate, legal, finance, oil, and other business executives in recent months. According to people familiar with invitation lists, he has often promises agenda items they would like passed as part of his broader fundraising pitch, and sometimes ask allies to bundle millions or more, according to people close to the former president. Some of the meetings have including tours of his Mar-a-Lago club in Palm Beach, Florida, and his New York apartment. Trump, for people close to him say, is closely tracking who gives what amount to his campaign and associated efforts, and which allies are bundling large checks for him. He has often told allies how much money he expects them to raise. Yep, like a proper Onlyfans guy. I have to figure out some sort of smart Onlyfans thumbnail for Trump. I'm gonna have to figure it out somehow because that could be the absolute best. Well, we'll figure it out later. Right now we still have to finish this article. In the days following the recent meeting with Oz donors, executive discussed whether it would be even possible to meet Trump's $1 billion request, according to 4 people in the oil industry familiar with the discussions. But they are trying. Trump has repeatedly pressured oil magnate Harold Hamm to raise significant money for him, telling Hamm that he is behind and needs the money. According to a person familiar with the outage, Hamm had an event for Trump in Texas on Wednesday, where the price of admission was about $250,000 for oil executives, according to people familiar with the matter. The meeting stretched for many hours, attendees said, and included photos with top donors at the fundraiser. He promised to cut taxes on corporations and give oil executives an array of policies they wanted, and said that he was outraged by the Democrats and the unions, asking the crowds to be generous. Please. So, give me some of your money, he said, drawing lots. True, I'm begging for your money. At another event, Trump told the group that if they wanted a picture with him and did not have one, they needed to give more. Oh, yes, this is... Oh my god, alright, so, okay, I guess he or somebody at this team definitely studied the OnlyFans. Oh my god. And yes, you're probably getting annoyed at me referencing to the OnlyFans, but however, this is just like OnlyFans, yeah. You want pictures? Give me money. You want something more? Give me more money. You want something special? Oh boy, you're gonna have to pay some heavy cash. He also had a fundraiser at the home of Kentucky co-baron Joe Kraft in May, according to a person with knowledge of the event. Trump has regularly joked with the donors and advisors that he doesn't spend more than 10 minutes with someone if the person doesn't give $10 million. According to people who have heard the comments. He also had complained about some of his billionaire friends not giving enough. In Florida earlier this month, the crowd seemed stunned after Trump offered the stage to anyone who would cut a $1 million check, according to people present. He kept asking people to come forward, according to audio of the event. Then 2 people took him up on the event. The limit contributing to RNC and the campaign. The entities hosting the event, it was less than 1 million. At the meeting with financial titans in Palm Beach earlier this year, he asked the group what regulations they viewed as most onerous. According to a person who attended, he then remarked at a larger fundraiser that donors were telling him they cared more about regulations than taxes, according to a donor who attended. At the New York fundraiser, Trump told the crowd that he wanted to hear what was on their minds and heard their thoughts about the former UN ambassador Nikki Haley. Yes, there are still people who are on the edge whether to vote for Trump because they like Haley and they do not really like Trump that much, so they might not vote for him. Yes, this is going to be definitely an interesting elections. We'll see how it plays out in the end. Whose prospects as the potential vice president pick he dismissed, and a range of issues related to Israel, obviously. That's a hot topic over there. To end the roundtable, he told the room that it was time to go to another fundraiser, prompting laughter when he joked that the next crowd would be less wealthy than the current one. Ah yes, the money jokes. I love them. Oh, 5,000 comments. More than 5,000 comments. Okay, we have to. Sort by promises made, promises broken. Will they ever run? Probably not. Most like. Okay, what's the most like? The big story here has been the steady erosion of the public corruption by the Supreme Court over a long series of cases, so now only an explicit quid pro quo for an explicitly named official action can be charged as a corruption. Now, why would these Supreme Court justices be so intent on legalizing bribery? I wonder why. Yes, because they are direct beneficiaries from this corruption, indeed. Yeah, basically everyone in the US profiteers. Whoever gets picked as the next big politicians for the local scene or for the national scene profits with money. For God's sake, Nancy Pelosi has like $250 million net worth. How? Because she also gets, backroom tips about investing. Yeah, I mean, if we all get those tips, we would probably be rich at this point. Or maybe not, because people would just go and immediately buy. And therefore, it would always, the prices or for the, financial quarters would always be priced in order, or it would be too overbought, so you would have to go for a contract on difference. I'm not sure if you can short on normal stocks or not. I have to find that. I cannot do that in my with my current broker, but I have an option to trade with CFDs, so that's more than enough. Speaking of CFDs, I'm just gonna take a. These are just replies, so we're not gonna bother reading them. We want comments. Or maybe this. A pack of defeating Trump in November will be laughing at the billionaires who donated to Trump for lower taxes. The billionaires are paying legal fees for sexual assault, fraud, and trying to overturn the US government. Who says you can't tax stupidity? Indeed, you can tax. Yeah, you should be able to tax stupidity. And yes, this is completely valid. Yes, billionaires buy Democrats. That's a fact. That's a fact as well. I don't think I'm just shitting on the Republicans. Like, this is completely normal in both parties, and this is the problem with your party system. I mean, even in other democracies, because you still can get wealthy donors. However, in other democracies, it is more likely that these donors will be spread out. I mean, it's ideal to have at least maybe like 7 or at least 7 parties in your parliament. Or 8 at least in minimum. Yeah, it boils down to, political parties make it alliances and stuff. Unfortunately, in reality, it works like they do. That they just do not follow their ideology or what they promise. They just make alliances to be in power and to get money. That's all it boils down to in the end. Let's see. Is there anything but